We're going to move on now to Sunil and Nanoprecise Scientific Corporation.
Welcome all. I'm Sunil, founder and CEO of Nanoprecise. Prior to founding Nanoprecise, I had 10 years of experience as a mechanical engineer with EPC companies such as Worley Parsons, mainly in oil and gas. While working at a plant site one day, I witnessed a near-miss event on the site due to a rotating equipment failure. Luckily, no one was injured, but it caused a massive downtime that cost company millions in lost production. Let me show you what can happen due to a rotating equipment failure. In steel rolling mill, steel is shaped for various industrial applications such as railways. The steel passes through the rollers to gradually reduce outside diameter. However, when the rollers of this conveyor on which the steel is rolling fails, the steel is unable to pass and jams up one after the other. You can see how a worker just got saved from a near fatal event. All of us relate to wind turbine as a clean form of energy that should not be hazardous in any way. The brakes, which are important to control turbine speed during high winds when failed, causes a catastrophic failure. Both of these events can be detected in advance and can be entirely avoided. As per McKinsey, unplanned downtimes cost global economy around $100 billion per annum. There are many approaches that are being tried in the market to unlock this massive value. For example, using AI models on process parameters such as pressure, temperature, and flow rate to predict failures. Monitoring based on SCADA data does not mean one will have insights on equipment health. It's same like me expecting my doctor to tell me what ailment do I have based on what I have consumed in the past, how much I exercise, and how many calories I lost, rather than my blood pressure or the heart rate. But unfortunately, these practices and this philosophy is still rampant in the industry. This is actually the reason why Cisco study says that as much as 75% of the predictive maintenance projects fail due to poor quality data, limited data, inaccurate feature correlation. This in effect leads to relation between user and the PDM vendor to be stuck in pilot purgatory and leads to delayed full-scale implementation. To solve these issues plaguing predictive maintenance, we at Nanoprecise have brought a unique solution that comprises of MachineDoctor, an IoT-based sensor, and AI-powered software platform called RotationLF. Our sensor feels vibration, listens to the machine sound, measures its temperature, speed in RPM, humidity of the environment, and magnetic field near motor, all with one sensor. That's why it is truly a machine doctor. When it comes to vibration and magnetic flux, our sensor is literally as accurate as a handheld analyzer, which is almost 100 times more expensive than our sensor. And this is not our statement. One can simply check with some of our users who had rigorously tested our sensor against a handheld analyzer. It can measure RPM with more than 99.9% accuracy. Proven. It has all the required certifications, including compliance with IEC Zone 0. That means it is applicable for any industry in any hazardous area, regardless. First, we collect equipment data from customer. Once the data from these sensing elements goes to the cloud, sensor data is correlated with the equipment data to achieve three basic objectives of predictive maintenance: anomaly detection, fault mode determination, and remaining time to failure prediction in a completely automated way. For achieving true prescriptive maintenance, the automated root cause analysis is needed, for which we need customers' process data from their DCS, PLC, and SCADA. We have partnered with open automation software for achieving this, and irrespective of any kind of DCS, PLC, or SCADA that the user has, we can easily integrate data from any silo into our cloud and send our cloud data to anywhere. Our whole data pipeline complies with cybersecurity standards such as UL 2900-2-2 and AES 256 level encryption. The results of the analysis are available on a dashboard that is accessible through mobile, whether iOS or Android, and the user is notified through text or emails. We differentiate from many other vendors because of our superior notification strategy, which keeps our notifications to an exceptionally low rate per sensor without missing out any important messages. So how is MachineDoctor unique? This is how our sensors sound for electrical line frequency problem in a motor. Using acoustic, our users can intuitively feel from their seat that there is something wrong from the sound itself. With the magnetic flux feature, we can detect both mechanical and electrical faults accurately. Unlike other IoT-based surface-mounted sensors, that are mainly suitable for anti-friction bearings. Due to our acoustic emission capability of 80 kilohertz sampling rate, ours is also good for production critical journal bearing machines apart from anti-friction bearing machines. So what is special about our software? It's our approach, patent pending algorithms, and the domain expertise that filters fault positives with such high accuracy that in the last 6 months, we detected and notified close to 50 faults and none of them have been proven wrong. So how do we do this? Firstly, we use AE and temperature to detect any anomalous behavior within the machine. To understand whether this anomalous behavior is due to process upset or due to an actual fault, we process the raw data with most advanced signal processing algorithm in academic world named SEAMDAN to filter the overall vibration signal into individual components of the same. To put this into perspective, the SEAMDAN algorithm works like this. If a room full of people are talking and if the crowd's noise is recording with a microphone, and when SEAMDAN is applied on this signal, it decomposes the signal into multiple smaller signals where each specific signal will contain the voice of the individual person. Now, to diagnose the faults in the machine, we correlate the extracted speed with the high resolution vibration data from the SEAMDAN to calculate the excitation frequencies of multiple rotating components inside the machine at that particular speed. Following this, we predict the remaining time to failure of each component and highlight the one with the least time to failure as the predominating fault mode. Finally, to confirm our finding, we correlate this with the reading from our online infrared temperature before alerting. Because of these differentiating aspects of our solution, one of our customers is installing up to 2,000 of our sensors in a single plant. Based on such demand and based on number of critical monitorable rotating machines available in the world, we anticipate a global addressable market size of $15.6 billion, and we are mainly focused on North America and Asia Pacific. Earlier this year, in April, during COVID time, we achieved $720,000 in potential unplanned downtime savings by avoiding a failure on the gearbox for our mining and metals customer. All this for a monthly fee of $3,300 only. Nutrien, our customer, was so happy that they have consistently added reasonable quantity of sensors every month since then, with the latest PO coming as latest as today. According to our customers, our solution acts like a cost-effective insurance policy for capital assets. We also foresee multiple use cases for our technology at NASA, such as HVAC facilities in NASA or NASA's wind turbines. It can also be used in some unique upcoming applications such as urban air taxi that is being tested with Uber and NASA participation. For using it on board a spacecraft, we will use a different microprocessor to do most of the calculations on the edge. So how do we fare with rest of the competition? As we compare ourselves with both startup and well-established players in the same field, we are the only one providing 6-in-1 sensor in the world. We have the highest vibration frequency bandwidth within MEMS sensors. We can do RPM detection from the range of 10 to 6,000 RPM with more than 99% accuracy. We are the only company that is doing vibration to RPM correlation up to a single second accuracy. When it comes to fault diagnosis using AI, EMD plus WNN method has been rated to be the most accurate and fastest converging method when compared to other well-known neural network methods. There's ample evidence on this and also a book published on this. We are one of the first company to commercialize this EMD plus WNN combination for rotating equipment. As per Chevron study, annual savings of $2,500 in motor maintenance costs can be achieved due to truly predictive maintenance. Our value for money is such that our solution is viable for a machine as small as 20 horsepower. In the future, to keep our competitive advantage, we are launching products both in sensor and software area. In the sensor area, we are launching energy harvesting version of our sensor very soon in coordination with our strategic partner. On the software side, we are working on launching our process optimization module to increase the yield throughput to provide the next level of significant value to our customers. Our go-to-market strategy is such that end users such as process plants are our top priority, to whom we reach out either directly or through distributors, depending on the location. Based on success with case study about a specific equipment, we reach out to those equipment OEMs. Finally, most of the system integrators such as SAP, IBM, or CMMS vendors that have all the enterprise and financial data would like to utilize our insights to convert it into dollars that can be realized with predictive maintenance in real time. Through this go-to-market strategy, we have been able to penetrate end users in 5 major sectors: oil and gas, mining and metals, fertilizer, pharma, and mobility. With a total of 15 plus paid customers and 3 times as many customers in pipeline, we are looking forward to an explosive growth. We have distributors in every continent now, and in some regions have multiple of them. This really helps us to scale quickly without having a physical office in that location. This also makes us highly diversified, as long as 50% of our sales now is due to distributors. Thus, we put a lot of efforts in training our distributors. Since we raised our pre-seed round in November 2017, we raised $3.6 million so far and are a strong team of 31 spread across 2 continents. In total, we have 2,000 plus paid sensor licenses with an enviable 95% conversion ratio from pilot to commercial contract. Our current monthly recurring revenue is $80,000 per month. The average contract size awarded by our users is $70,000 per annum, and the minimum contract duration is 1 year, excluding the pilot phase, of course. We achieved close to $1 million multi-year contract with a single customer in Jan 2020, probably one of the largest PDM automation program of its kind till date. The lifetime value from our customers on an average is $1.4 million. We have seen a significant jump in our contracts during the COVID phase, and we are hoping to close the sales of 4,200 sensor licenses by the end of this year or at max within first quarter of next year. By the end of 2023, we hope to have 60,000 active sensor licenses generating $20 million in recurring revenue. The success so far has been possible due to a diverse team. Graham Kavulka, who is our VP of BD, worked for both large companies such as GE and Siemens and for startups. Surekha, with her 10 years of experience as an HR professional with startups at different stages, is building a unique culture that is rich in values and principle. Prashant is our CTO, who had his own AI-based startup for 7 years. Farad is the head of software and worked under world-famous AI professor Richard Sutton. Arun, our hardware and firmware lead, has worked with customers like Apple and Teradyne. Our board is composed of well-known experts in their fields and is led by Brian Craig, who is one of the most successful and influential investors in Canadian startup ecosystem. He recently sold his company Solium Capital to Morgan Stanley for $1 billion. Our technical advisory team is composed of a group of 5 close-knit professors that work together in the field of advanced condition monitoring and have hundreds of technical papers and books published under their name. Nanoprecise was founded by me in April 2017. By November 2017, I raised $1 million in capital. By December 2018, we had all the certifications of our product with 4 case studies and some commercial customers. In May 2019, we raised $1 million more. And in between, we also won $400,000 in government grants. In February 2020, we signed an MSA agreement and a PO close to $1 million from a Fortune 500 steel company. By now, we reached to 25 people and we raised another $1 million on a convertible debt in March 2020. We are on track to have $1.8 million in ARR with more than 25 paid clients and strong team of 35 people in Jan 2021. Our solution is now completely developed and commercially scalable, whether the user wants to buy with or without our sensor. Thus, this is the time to scale it rapidly while keeping our churn to less than 5% annually. In this pursuit, we are raising $4 million for our Series A round, out of which we aim to spend more than 50% on business development and the rest on customer support, distributor training, new features development, and new product launches. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's open it up for questions. Ramona. All right, Cheryl, let's go to you.
So could you talk a little bit more about HVAC? I have a background in a lot of commercial real estate stuff, which BMSs and all of that, but I'm also interested about, more serious uses like data centers. Are those spaces worth exploring for you, or is your price point and technology kind of too high to be servicing those things?
No, actually, our price point is very well suited for even those applications, and so it varies from $40 per sensor per month to something like $20 per sensor per month. So it's completely. I think HVAC is a very great application. We were talking to an Edmonton-based company called Silent Air, who does data centers, provide HVAC for the data centers. Sorry. So definitely that is a possible usage.
Thank you.
Hey, I'm on now. A little delay there. Now, I mean, you can do far more than HVAC, right? I mean,
Yes.
we have an interest with our gas pump facility for our rocket engine testing. And so you have some other experiences with that, or at least that would be an area we'd want to look at. I guess I'll talk about that more with you at the impact table. But could you discuss some other uses that you have some experience or extrapolations of how you could use this for NASA?
Sure, yeah. So we are, for example, for one customer called Delec, which has a refineries in Houston. So we are monitoring a lot of pumps. Those are like fluid pumps and natural gas pumps, and a very hazardous area and high temperature pumps. So I mean, we have detected faults like cavitation or like impeller damage or bearing damage. Shaft misalignment, unbalanced looseness. So I definitely don't see any problem in monitoring those for NASA, the gas pumps.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Sherman.
Did you call?
Yes. I wanted to understand, what is the average number of sensors? You said it's $40 per sensor per month. What's the average number of sensors that you deploy at this time?
Yeah, so there are two types of equipments in the world. One is anti-friction bearing, other is journal bearings. So anti-friction bearings, the simple formula is one sensor per bearing. So if you have a motor and a pump, usually there'll be four sensors, right? And if it is an anti-friction bearing, then basically depending on the horsepower size, for example, for a 4,000 horsepower reciprocating compressor at one oil and gas company, we had seven sensors per reciprocating compressors. So that's the number. Yeah.
And then I just want to check, those sensors are pretty much commoditized hardware sensors, right?
Yes.
Okay, got it. So you don't make those or anything like that. That's commoditized.
I mean, we like a contract manufacturer. The design is all done. So we just give an order. So within 20 days, we will have some, up to 10,000 sensors ready.
Got it. Okay. And how long on average with the customers you have thus far, does it take you to deploy your sensors on someone's equipment?
Yeah, good question. So, for example, like just last week we installed, last month we installed like 200 sensors for at one refinery. So it takes just 2 days. So I would say that 100 sensors or 150 sensors per day is easily doable.
Got it. And what's the replacement time? Like, how long do those sensors typically last? And when do you subsequently need to replace them?
Yeah, so the sensor is made of very durable, like a steel and the plastic material. So sensor life itself will go on. I mean, unless and until it's a highly acidic environment, it should also stay in that. But apart from that, the battery life, we are looking at. I mean, we have optimized our battery life to anywhere from 1.5 years all the way up to 5 years or more, depending on the upload rate. Right, but at the same time, our sensor is smart enough that it is taking the data every 10 minutes and it is doing a lot of edge computing. So in that way, it is smart that when it detects anything, then only it will upload to internet. And if it has uploaded to internet already certain number of times and detected a problem, so it will stay silent for that day. So in that, because if we have, the basic assumption is for a day, if we have detected one problem, we don't need to repeat notifying the same problem again and again for that pump. Yeah.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
All right, Harry.
Can you tell how big are the sensors? And when you hook a sensor up to an instrument, how much data, or what do you have to tell it about what you're hooking it up to in order for you to diagnose it and do the prognosis?
Yeah, so that's one of the good part. We don't need any data from the customer except basic things like like a bearing number or the basic nominal RPM. Even though we detect RPM ourselves, but we just want to know the nominal RPM. So and the gear ratios and all that. So these things are very readily available. Customer can give for 100 equipments within a day. So once we have that, we will configure all the characteristic frequencies, and and then we basically start getting the data. There is a 2 weeks training time, and after the training time, it will start detecting, doing those 3 objectives: anomaly detection, fault mode determination, and the remaining time to failure prediction based on how each and every fault is trending in its severity.
Are you collecting sound as well as vibration, or is it just vibration?
We are collecting sound and vibration.
This is
Paul?
Ramona again. You are located in Canada, correct?
Yes.
Do you have an office in the U.S. that the U.S. government could work through?
Yeah, so we basically are establishing our office in US, and we also have identified one partner who is a level 4 vibration, a certified vibration engineer. So he's ready to join us as soon as early next year. So let's say early next year we will have the office and set up, and our very skillful and experienced engineer who can help you, and who already work with Lawrence Center at NASA, so he can very well service your needs. Yeah.
Thank you.
Paul?
Thanks. Nice job, Sunil. Earlier in your briefing, you described 3 types of partnerships that you were creating, 3 venues to get to the market. Can you tell us who inside your organization is developing those partnerships, and what's your specific process to approach them and build them out that leads to your strategy to get to market?
Sure. Yeah, I have my VP of Business Development here. Sorry about that. I have my VP of Business Development, Graham Kavulka. He's already bringing some partnerships. So, Graham, would you like to talk about this?
Sure, yeah. Good question, Paul. So the strategy, as Sunil mentioned, has a couple of components. The primary ones is going after end users who have the real pain or interest in value creation, and also working with distributors. So the distributors we're working with, we go through an evaluation of who are they credible, and what kind of relationships do they have to potential end users. A lot of the distributors we work with end up being people who are already very technically talented and have a background in condition monitoring, and they already have a client base, and they know how to evaluate our technology and our offering and the differentiation points Sunil mentioned, so that they can go, hey, this is different than what I've seen in the past. And most of the time when we're talking to people who are knowledgeable, they really get what the value and the difference is, so they can sort of sort the wheat from the chaff, if that makes sense. So once you have that relationship established, they already know the details of what condition monitoring is. They just need to have some trust that we're doing things that they can, their reputation with their clientele and connections will not put them in a tough spot. So that's, I think, what we spend most of our time on with distributors, is making sure that they are comfortable and that they believe, and that we can show them that there's a difference here. On the end users, we talk about all kinds of things related to financial, really. The tech is interesting and we have to get over that hurdle with them. But then we start talking about business case, and that all comes back to references, referrals, case studies, as well as talking about health and safety and access and that kind of stuff. So we spend most of our time talking about the tech from a credibility point of view, differentiation, as well as the financial.
Okay, Graham, thank you. I have one quick follow-up then. Are you specific? Tell us about how you are specifically working with any of the existing U.S. advanced manufacturing consortium and working groups that are already venues to distributors and already venues to markets, or any of the university-based smart factory programs that are being built out?
Sunil, maybe you want to handle that one, because I'm actually not aware of any connections we have to those particular ones. I think, Paul, I might need to know the specifics of like institutions, and we can maybe comment more. But Sunil, are you familiar with any of what Paul's asking?
At least till now, Paul, we don't have any association, but that's the whole intent of attending all these events like NASA, iTech, and all that, because we want exposure to U.S. market and those smart manufacturing groups that you talked about. We have some in Canada. We are associated with some associations in Canada, like I think a mining association that we have, Graham, as you know. So, but we want exposure to those organizations, those associations in US.
Okay, thank you for the answer.
Great work, and again, looking forward to some in-depth discussions tomorrow from the whole panel, or from at the impact tables from the individual members of the panel, as well as other impact table participants.